Ether just broke previous all-time highs. Is it going to the moon? CME Ethereum Futures is on the horizon, February 8th. Gemini just came out with the ability for a user to earn 7.4% interest on your crypto. Elon supports Bitcoin. Glassnode just came out with their 5th weekly newsletter. And MicroStrategy just can't stop buying Bitcoin. What's up, everyone? It's JM with JM Invests with your first update. Please like the video to help the channel and subscribe if you're new. All right, let's get into it. Ethereum is now at 1546. There was a 4-hour close right here at 1437 and then a wick at 1478.97 on January 25th. If we go to the 4-hour chart, you can see here that it broke out of this ascending triangle. If you want to start the triangle from here, another way you can look at it is that it's still in this wedge, this rising wedge. And that's really how I want to look at it right now. We've been faked out 1, 2, 3 times. Ethereum is having a hard time actually breaking out. So I would really just practice caution. Don't be too bullish at the moment. Right now we're looking at this zone for support. If it can hold that area and break out of this rising wedge up here to the top, then we're looking at green skies and green candles. Otherwise, this rising wedge is going to give us some problems. It could break down below this level of support and even go through this bottom of the rising wedge. The rising wedge is a pattern that typically breaks down to the lower. It's typically a bearish pattern. So just exercise caution here. Don't be too bullish. Don't be too bullish here. Be careful about going all in at the moment, even though it's breaking all-time highs. We want to see the candle close above this upper support on this rising wedge, come back down, retest, and then skyrocket before we can say this is off to the moon. So some key areas right now for support are here around 1267, and then below that there's a big line of support right here around $1,000, 1050. So I'd be setting some buy orders here and here, and if it goes below that, you have this area of support right down here at 750. I really doubt this level will be hit. That would just be too bearish. If we go to the weekly chart, we are still chugging upwards. We are making higher lows. So things are still looking good. If anything, we might see a pullback from here to 1,000, making it 30%. We could also see a range between this area, in between here, for reaccumulation. So CME is coming out with Ether Futures. CME is the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, the biggest derivatives exchange in the world. So that is big news and might be why the market is moving at the moment. So if we take a look at Bitcoin and see where that is at the moment, it's seems like it's still ranging in between the $40,000 and $30,000 level. There have been a lot of whales accumulating around this area. I know that MicroStrategy bought some more Bitcoin at around 31,800. They also bought another $10 million worth of Bitcoin, which is all still bullish news, and I will go into that later. Right now, let's look at Gemini, right? Just put out a video on how to make a Gemini account, and today they actually came out with this right here, earn 7.4% interest with Gemini Earn. So let's learn more about that. Basically, you can earn interest on your crypto with Gemini Earn and earn up to 7.4% APY, which is kind of nuts. Let's look at the current standard national average interest rate for a savings account, which is 0.05%. So if we were going to compare the two, if we do 7.4 divided by 0.05, that's 148 times the national average interest that you'd be getting, and you'd be getting it in crypto. So if you have Ethereum, for example, you'd be getting Ethereum back, or if you have Bitcoin, you'd be getting that interest back in Bitcoin. which is great because if Bitcoin or Ethereum go up, then the interest you earned will be worth more. So I will make a video on how to actually get this going on your Gemini. I'll get that out as soon as possible so you can start earning some passive income, 148 times the national average. Also, Elon supports Bitcoin. So on January 29th, he actually changed his bio to Bitcoin B, and if we go down here around the time he actually posted or updated his bio. So if we go to one of his tweets, he said, in retrospect, it was inevitable, and that was on January 29th, right when he changed his bio. So if we go actually to January 29th, you can see that's when the pump happened right there, January 29th. Boom, it was around midnight, and it really moved the market. Man, that's almost a 20% move in Bitcoin. So recently he was on the Clubhouse app talking about how he was a Bitcoin supporter and also that DOGE was just a joke. So really be careful before you put all your money into Dogecoin.
What do you think of Bitcoin? What do you think of other cryptocurrencies? We'd love to get your take on the entire thing.
Well, yeah, I gotta watch what I say here because some of these things can really move the market. So, first of all, I should say, like, many friends of mine have tried to convince me to get involved in Bitcoin for a long time, like from when it first just popped, it popped out there. And, a friend of my bully, he actually had Bitcoin cake, a cake that was like had a big sort of Bitcoin symbol on it, and he fed me a slice of Bitcoin cake in 2013. So, I mean, clearly I should have at least bought some Bitcoin 8 years ago. Like, what more do people need to do? Like, Jesus, talk about being late. Talk about being late to the party. So I was a little slow on the uptake there. My apologies. But I think about it a fair bit. But I do at this point think Bitcoin is a good thing. So I am a supporter of Bitcoin. Like I said, I'm late to the party, but I am a supporter of Bitcoin. And I think Bitcoin is really on the verge of getting broad acceptance by sort of the conventional finance people. So yeah, I think so. I don't have a strong opinion on other cryptocurrencies. I mean, occasionally I make jokes about Dogecoin, but they are really just meant to be jokes. But Dogecoin was made as a joke to make fun of cryptocurrencies, obviously. But fate loves irony, and often, as a friend of mine said, that the most ironic outcome is most likely, or as I like to say, the most entertaining outcome.
So just to reiterate, Doge is a joke. There's not really very strong fundamentals there. So just to recap, be really careful with putting all your money in Doge. It's not the most fundamentally strong crypto. And personally, I like to invest in fundamentally strong cryptocurrencies. All right, so Glassnode just came out with their 5th weekly newsletter. And if you don't know what Glassnode is an on-chain data and intelligence platform for cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin and Ethereum. So they track what goes on those blockchains, and they have a lot of really great charts. So as you can see, there's a lot of data in here and a lot of things that you can extrapolate from this data. And we'll just go over their weekly newsletter as they are pretty insightful. So this just came out yesterday. Bitcoin market health. BTC had a relatively stable week, starting at 32K, ending at 33K. On Friday, however, it rapidly shot up to 38K. That was because of Elon. All right, for the bulls, BTC's stable coin supply ratio has been declining in 2021 as more stable coins are minted. When SSR is low, this means that there is a large supply of stable coins relative to BTC, which indicates more buying power ready to flow into BTC and other assets. So good news for bulls. There is some money waiting on the sidelines All right, for the bears. After spiking in early January 2021, the number of active entities on Bitcoin network decreased significantly, returning to its previous trajectory. While this metric has since begun to increase again, it has still not returned to levels seen at the top of the market in January. So as you can see on this chart here, it has decreased, but it's still making higher lows. So this news is not so much bearish as it is slightly less bullish. It shows that the spike up to over 40K was driven by and led to an increase in activity, which has since decreased as the price has dropped. So what does that mean? So that means that during this run-up, there was a lot more accounts that were active, and when the price dropped, a lot of those active addresses sold off and became inactive, and now we're seeing some more activity here. However, this decrease looks more like a healthy correction than a shift towards a bearish trend, so investors should not be worried based on this metric. And a bullish comment from Willy Woo, who is a really great on-chain analyst. Woo's take: the market has completed a full purge of overheatedness. So when Bitcoin reached 42K, a lot of people sold off and were taking profits. So once selling commences, the selling pressure begets more sellers taking their profits while it's still there. Profit taking has now completed. We can see this in the SOPR chart below. When SOPR touches the 1.0 line, coins moving between investors no longer carry profit. SOPR, what does SOPR mean? SOPR is the spent output profit ratio. And the SOPR indicator serves as a proxy to determine the overall Bitcoin profit or loss. So to push SOPR lower, investors would have to be willing to sell at a loss. So people aren't going to really be selling at a loss here. They're going to want to hold on to this. This is a bullish market. They're going to want to hold on to this and realize profits once it reaches new all-time highs. So in order to allow for that, they would need to enter into a bearish phase, but this is very unlikely as we are bounded by the 29K price floor. So what else? Altcoin feature. USDC is seeing massive exchange inflows in 2021. USDC is a stable coin, so 1 USDC should equal $1, and it's an Ethereum stable coin. So after growing slowly since 2018, the number of USDC on exchanges has begun to rapidly increase as of 2021. This trend is bringing more buying power into the crypto market, acting as a potential catalyst waiting on the sidelines, ready to flow into BTC and other crypto assets. So there is just a bunch of USDC on exchanges waiting to buy crypto. The number of USDC on exchanges increased by over 112% in January alone, growing from 431 million to over 915 million. This represents almost $1 billion worth of buying power from USDC alone, poised to move into assets such as BTC. This high figure should increase investors' confidence in any dips being quickly bought up, making it a bullish sign. So all of this just means when Bitcoin is dipping, they are just buying. Weekly feature: Grayscale Holdings acquiring BTC faster than it's being mined. So in 2021, so far, around 26,000 Bitcoin have been mined. Meanwhile, digital asset investment fund Grayscale Holdings has acquired over 40,000 BTC in the same period. So what does that tell you about supply and demand? There is way more demand than there is supply right at this moment, where Grayscale, just one company alone, is buying more than what is being created at this moment. This means that looking at Grayscale's acquisitions alone, the available BTC supply is drying up faster than it is being created. That is going to really, really affect the supply and demand, which affects the price. Less supply, more demand, higher price. And you may be asking yourself, why isn't the price of Bitcoin going up right now, since they're buying so much? So a lot of these big institutions can do over-the-counter deals, OTC deals, where they're actually doing it peer-to-peer or have a middleman do it for them. And some are just buying really smart at the dips and not buying enough to really change the price of it. So another thing, Bitcoin liquid supply change, with BTC supply being continually bought up by large investors and institutions, new price floors are being set at higher and higher levels. This continued restriction of supply places Bitcoin in a bullish zone. All right, that does it for the daily update. Thanks everyone. Have a great day.